Alrighty, should be able to hear my voice right now. Should be all good. Yeah, let's go ahead and mute this so that way there's no sound coming through on that end. Hi, welcome back, everybody. It's Monday. I did some maths, right? I need to go here. Need to go here. We'll do this math here, just so we're on the same page, right? We got our handy dandy calculator here. We started with $20 and we subtracted $19.16. Right. We are that much monies into the hole negative for this account. We are currently in a rough patch, right? My goal for the next 2 days, just so we're on the same page, so we're also very clear. Let's triple check that now. Monday, no news. Tuesday, no news. So 2 days, because Wednesday is FOMC, can't trade. Thursday is CPI, can't trade. Friday is August 1st, which we can't trade either because of non-farm. Do you see the predicament we're in? In order to get July into the positive, one, we have to be on the ball with our trades, and two, we need enough return. We need enough return to offset that negative balance. This is, in my opinion, a very bad idea if, in the event, the account does not have the funds it needs to recuperate. But because we were messing with such small amounts to begin with, because I really wanted to learn without losing too much or without gaining too much, I really wanted to nail down that pattern as best as I could. Because of my failures in just trading and making oddball mistakes here and there, not really caring about the mistakes, and losing track of my ideas, my head every now and then. It's just not good. We have today and tomorrow to make up for that 84-cent loss. 84 cent? 84-cent loss. We either make up for that or we fail this month, and I'll be announcing a major change to how I upload and how things are going to go from this point forward. Not August 1st because that's Friday, but Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. So not tomorrow, but the next day. You guys can find that announcement on Orbs Vault. If you're interested in finding that announcement or even watching this channel at all, or any of the content I post, that's pretty much where I stream, right? It's where all the announcements are held. It's where I am currently. I want to continue what I'm doing. I really want to continue learning this because if there's any hope of me actually trading and doing this the way I want to, I'd like to do that. I'd like this as an option for an income stream. I really, really would. Uh, but for right now, seeing as I'm not really drawing any income from anywhere, I kind of am reliant on either A, I get this where I want it to go, or B, and I can, I get this where I want it to go, and I'm successful enough at it to continue till September, in which case a major change will take place then, or a major change is going to have to take place sooner due to me failing a second time at this. So, that being said, we have set up the charts. As you can see here, we had a bit of a doji here, and that's why I'm including it in this range on NASDAQ. And the two charts coincide with each other on both applications. We have a strong move down here. Let's go to 30-minute. Both of these, so you can see we have doji there, strong move down. So I included that as a high, as it is a high in London session. This is the high for Asian session, and we don't care about this low because it was passed under. Same story here ish. We have a low and a high with that same doji there. Is it in the same pattern? Yes, it is. This doji is in the exact same pattern, I think. Yeah, it's the same candle too. So, Dragonfly doji saying continuance in this downtrend. I'm not gonna say I know exactly. Like I reviewed the meanings of each of these, and I know there are imbalances in the market. Like this one right here, this is a gravestone, this is a dragonfly. Same story here, gravestone, dragonfly, and typically when a gravestone is found at the bottom of a trend, it usually indicative of a trend shift. We should see price move higher up out of this, either out of breaking past this or inverting this, one of the two. That being the case, MACD's also confirmed that price has been under the 10-day moving average, moving down. Let's see what the daily has to say. Daily says we're in an uptrend. We've been steadily going higher and higher. We get to break structure on any of these lows. We have a price gap here, as well as here, for it to continue higher. What's the 4 hour say? 4 hour says we're in an uptrend. We have not broke structure out of it. We did temporarily here. Thought it was going to continue lower. Didn't. You can see that there. Actually broke the structure here when it broke above this high here, assuming this is a down candle, and the indecisiveness helped out with that order block, sweep, create a fair value gap, or break a structure, fair value gap, and then retrace and then move up even further. We're in an uptrend at the moment, and currently the price is seeking this imbalance here on the 4 hour between 14 and 18. Which we can see even closer here between the 16 and 15. Actually, not 16, 17 mark. Maybe this is the 1 hour, the hour gap, I think. That makes the most sense. There's an hour gap here that's missing. So, that being the case, it'll probably seek that out first. And it'll correct it from there. Regardless, though, we're in an uptrend. I'm not expecting it to go down any further anytime soon, though we just recently broke structure here. Even on the 30-minute, we have break structure off of this low, specifically, more recently, this low off of this candle here, and it just plummeted since. Same story here. 4 hours saying uptrend with the price gap between the same times. 1 hour downtrend, break the structure off of that. And then 30-minute, we don't have a low to go off of here, so we have to use this one. This low says we broke structure there and the fair value gap as well, and it just plummeted. We'll stay on the hour for this chart specifically. We got the low, most recent low outside of trend, because everything within trend, that's this open forward, is essentially saying we've already swept all the lows where we might be going higher, and that we have a doji on the 30 with major indecisiveness that we could treat for a level on the NASDAQ, but it's not the same case here on the S&P 500. So I elected to highlight this low just in case we wind up breaking past it, just to use it. I'm also looking at the same 1 hour time frame, and you guys can see for yourselves. This right here is price current, and we're looking as far back as we can to see where price comes within this range here. We could potentially look, or higher, that we could look for a key level up higher, and it looks like we're in free field right now. There is nothing saying price is going higher, or there's plenty of low it could take out. So that's currently what we're looking at right now. The general trend is up. We just broke structure on the hour. 4 hour says we're up. We're not breaking structure at all, though we have a doji there. What I think is going to happen, it'll continue lower, close below this, and then jump up higher. It's got to manipulate a higher low within this first, though. See that here soon. It could be a major fake out with this right here. This could be an order block. If we were looking at this specifically, we're looking for the first major move up, which would have been this right here-ish. Breaker block, move up, and then the next move down, if it closes within, which it did from this high here down to this low here, closed within, order block, move up. We had an even further move down before the big move up here. This could be considered another order block. This could encompass an entire breaker block between this red and this green. Move down, closed within the range of this breaker block here, from this high to, you guessed it, this low, closed within, order block, break of structure, sweep of these highs here, and then continuation move higher with a gap, two gaps, one fair value gap, one price gap. Now, because we have double imbalance, price is going to want to, it has manipulated a high here, and as from this high, it'll continue down, sweeping this low and this imbalance here. Yeah. We continue down to the hour, see something similar, a little bit more focused towards trend specifically. We had this move up, breaker block. I don't know why we're starting over here. Let's not start over there. Let's start right here because we have a collection of green candles moving up that swept out these highs. Breaker block, order block, price gap, move down. Didn't close within, and instead we had an imbalance here that we could treat similar to that of a fair value gap. So using this as a fair value gap, it'll continue higher, right? Sure enough, it did. It continued higher and even went almost above this high specifically, because minus the hour missing, we have up, down. This would be the new high. From this high, we had continuation, move up higher. Boom, it closed relatively close to that high. We created a new high off of that, had a break of structure, fair value gap, saying continuation, move down. I don't know if there was any retrace within this. I imagine there was, considering we had a small move up briefly enough for it to then manipulate a high off of some price within this and then continue on down further. Because we broke structure on the hour, we have not broke structure on the 4, though we have two imbalances on the 4 hour and the 1 hour that coincide with each other. In my honest opinion, I think we could wait until, obviously we have to because it's not 9:30, market's not open, but you get the point. Market's got to come down, prices got to come down, manipulate this. It'll more likely manipulate this first, close with below this, inverting the price gap. After it balances out, it will manipulate this low to feed itself and move itself higher. Fill the buy orders to continue higher. My bias for the day is up. Price wants to continue higher, but before it can, it's got to balance itself out from this price gap here, manipulate a low off of this move down currently, and once it's done manipulating this low, it'll continue higher. I know my bias. That's set in stone. However, I'm not going to marry that bias completely through and through because we're currently in a downtrend. At any point, if this price right now does not want to manipulate this low, what it could do in exchange for manipulating that low is just consolidating within this price gap here. Once it's consolidated enough, it'll have actually inverted this and manipulated the low, but without closing below it. Closing within, and then we'll see a breakout, and it'll just continue from there. I'm sorry for the tired mouth. I have legitimately slept all day yesterday, and yeah, I should not be tired right now, except from sleeping. I should be tired of sleeping. Same story on this one here. We have this move down here, cool. And same doji on NASDAQ as we do on S&P. We have a small retrace here. Looks like they're diverging now on the 30-minute. I'm not going to look at this though anymore. I'm going to look at the 1 hour specifically because we want to see on the hour when our key levels hit. And when it's hit, we will act on it. Yeah, price might be continuing lower. That will have created down up a new low that we could target. Again, we won't care about this key level anymore, assuming this crosses below it. And we want to see a low created before we continue higher. So that's the thing. We could be looking at a new low form, in which case this will move down. We'll see it move up briefly to manipulate this low a second time. Once it's manipulated a second time, we can then assume, okay, price is actually going to move higher, and then work our confluences up until we see it move higher. But we need, again, the key level manipulated first, and then we'll see it move. We could trade right now, but I don't want to. Too risky at the moment, especially with how price is differentiating right here. Nasdaq is saying it's actually moving higher, not lower, with a doji, and this doji is saying lower. So it's a question of what the next move is and whether or not we have a break of structure after that, or if it's a legitimate fake out. We could see a strong reaction here soon, just from the next candle in the next hour or so, of it moving down the way it is, and then plateauing, and then break out. Like literally right now, it could invert that fair value gap. And then on the 30-minute, if we pay attention on NASDAQ, if it breaks out of that high, it'll be a manipulation of that high for it to continue lower. The general bias is up, though, for the daily and the 4-hour. So the hour right now holds very little power in regards to those two. I'd like to see it continue higher from where it is. I'd also like to see a level manipulated before I really dive into any confluences saying anything else. This is still a low per the S&P. This is still a low for the NASDAQ. So we're going to treat it like that. Let's go over here. I mismarked this. That's the low for S&P. I marked that correctly. That's the low for the NASDAQ, which is good. We're going to stay on the NASDAQ for this so you guys can see the differences between NASDAQ and this with how it moves. Keep in mind the NASDAQ is 10 minutes behind this chart specifically. If you're looking at this chart right here, it's 10 minutes delayed from this. This is live price action. So looks like price might actually want to continue lower for the MACD, or at least that's what it's saying right here, as it's far below the 10-day moving average. So we could see, yeah, because we had a huge leap up here and some buy side resistance. Got this here. And a strong move up, support. We could be seeing price move higher. Because this manipulated this high without question to push price lower, so it could recoup from this price gap and potentially these fair value gaps down here. Less so this one, more so this one, because again, that price gap there, fair value gap, is still valid. I have no, I'm not going to say no doubt, but I do have suspicion that price is going to go as low as this low here. It might sweep past it, but not close below, and that will be a manipulation of that low specifically. It'll wick below, close, and then we'll see it move up higher, potentially break structure within this, and then it'll move much higher than that. I want to wait and see, though, before I get my hopes up. I think I've done all I can, really. I've gone over news. We know tomorrow's going to be high impact compared to today. Seeing as today we have literally nothing. I want to see exactly what's going to happen. We're going to be trading 5 lots we have right now. 0.05 lots, right? I'm tempted to actually up that, but at the same time, this is more than what I have been trading, and I've only ever traded this amount one other time, and it was like way a long time ago on Trading View and not Trade Locker. So we're gonna keep that right where it is until we have a positive on July, and only after July, if we remain in the positive, am I going to change that to a 0.10, just so I can have a better grasp on the amount I'm trading, right? Because I feel like I've been failing at keeping track on how much I've been losing, how much I've been gaining in whatever time amount, right? Yeah, I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna let it do its thing. We'll come back around 9:30. See what happens. Okay, I've just got through doing some pretty heavy reading. Okay. Learning the ins and outs of another strategy that I think would be beneficial for me to use. Am I debating on using it this video? Not entirely, because I'm still working the ins and outs. It is so incredibly simple, though, compared to TJR's strategy, that I feel as though it'd be best later on if I were to implement it, but it only works for larger account sizes, whereas TJR's allows the use of smaller account sizes to build that portfolio in the first place, to get used to the price action and the way it moves. Both instances, both strategies, introduce what's called scaling back, which means if I enter here and I think it's going higher, and it does go higher, I can close a portion of the trade out, but because my account size is so small, $20 and less, I'm using, literally speaking, tenths of a lot. And to close out specific positions, I need to be able to go above 0.01 lot. And in order to close that, it needs to move above where I enter. And once I've closed above where I enter, then that move should actually go higher, because I'll have less invested in the market and letting from that entry point upwards be the return, right? Combine that with the fees of trading on the S&P for the E-mini futures part of it, right? And the motion that would need to occur would actually need to be pretty substantial for me to scale out successfully. Otherwise, I'd be scaling out and losing at the same time. So my thought process is, I'm going to up it. Here's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to go 0.1. So now I'm risking 33%, 1/3 of my account size, $6.40, okay? And my thought process is, when I do this, is I'm going to use TJR's strategy, right? I'm going to trade using that strat. And I'm going to continue using the confluence of the MACD as well as the 10-day moving average, simple moving average, on the 5-minute time frame. So when I get across on the 5-minute, it confirms it via the MACD, and the strategy lines up from TJR, confirming double down over, right? We'll see that occur. And we can enter and then scale back by 0.01 off of every move. That being the case, I understand the risk I'm taking by increasing the lot size, and understand that if I were to lose, I could wind up losing the account. Not from this size, but from greater sizes. And if my stop loss is not managed accordingly, it could really, really mess me up. So I'm going to be very, 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 very cautious this video. And hopefully we can manage to actually get that profit that we're looking for. So here just now is 9:18 before market open. We're in pre-market. We can see this low being manipulated here. Do we think it's going to go much lower? Potentially not. Let's go to the 4-hour right quick, because that looks like it's closed that price gap almost. It's almost closed it. So if that low was a successful manipulate, right? Successful point, two things should occur. One, we should see a break of structure on the lower time frame saying, hey, price is actually going to go higher, because right now we're in a downtrend for the 4-hour. The hour pretty much matches that. Break of structure there, downtrend, continuation break there, continue down. Right now it's in a retrace, in a downtrend for the 4-hour. And on the daily, I don't think we broke structure yet. Yeah, no, we haven't broke structure yet. We're just cleaning up that price gap first. So I think I'm right in the sense that price needed to rebalance itself, and in order to do that, it needed to manipulate a low on a lower time frame, and then two, it needed to clean up this inverse, that price gap there. From this price gap, we're going to stay on the 1-hour. Actually, you know what? No, let's do this, because we were on the 1-hour. We have a key level hit. It's on that candle. It's on the same candle allotted to market open. So from here, we should be able to go to essentially this here, right? 4-hour says we're in a downtrend. 1-hour says we're in a downtrend. Do I want to trade shorts? Sure, we could trade shorts, but there's a slight problem that's got to occur. There's a slight thing that's got to occur because we see it here. We've manipulated the low, right? Here. This was low 1, and then we manipulated it again there, okay? We need to see a break of structure above, you guessed it, this high here, or a green candle up, and that create a new high. Price then manipulates past that, breaking structure, showing us the reaction off of this manipulation down low. From this, we need to see everything saying price is going to continue lower. What's going to tell me price is going to continue lower? A fair value gap in the same direction. Not breaking structure, but in the same direction down. Then again, it's manipulated low and rebalanced, so it could actually continue higher. What's telling me price is going to continue higher? The fair value gap, the continuation in the direction of not the reversal, but of trend. Trend says down at the moment. So, again, we see a break of structure or an inverse value gap to begin with, or we get the break of structure and then continuation upwards, or the filling of a breaker block, or an order block, which actually looks like this right here. Price can come up, touch this, and then come down, because that could be considered an order block on the 5-minute. Price broke below the 10-minute moving average here. We zoom in on the NASDAQ specifically. You can see here, we also had a break below that there. Boom. So if we move up to the hour, what's the hour saying? Hour is saying we've been in that direction. And that price could continue further down, but before it does, it's got to manipulate a high. So my thinking is, let's wait. Let's wait and see exactly what's going to happen. Because we're on the hour, but we need a reaction. On the 5-minute. We need a reaction on the 5-minute. Let's take a look at this here. And I could be wrong too about this manipulation here. In the next 30 minutes, the very next 30 minutes, we can actually go back to this right here. Go to the 30-minute here. Boom. And yeah, you can see it here. This being the most recent low. This right here is the most recent low. On the hour, this is. But if on the 30-minute, this closes and this right here opens up and we see it move higher, as in it doesn't close below that, this will actually become the new low for London session, making it part of the overall range that we're looking at to enter stuff on. Okay? That's what we're looking at, though. So I think that'd be the smartest move of us to do right now. Let's wait on the 30-minute. Let this close up, do its thing. I want to see this next candle, which will fall on this line, open and then close. It either closes in the direction of, and we see it continue moving down, or we see a break of structure from this candle moving up, and then we get our reaction off of this low like we were wanting to have it in the first place. That break of structure on a higher time frame suggests, again, reversal on the higher time frame, which is what we want to see, because we've already got a key level hit, right? From that break of structure, though, we'll see the same thing happen on the lower time frame, but in the form of an inverse value gap. Same confirmation that the reversal was there. We can then continue from that reversal confluence, the confirmation of it, to find a continuation confluence in the direction of the reversal, which in this case would be in the uptrend, because we're trying to break out of this low and want to see price continue higher. It's continued higher every single time we've taken a trade. We've seen it come down and then reverse and then move higher. But I want to see the confluence before I say, yes, it's going in this direction. I know it is because it's been that way in the past. Using logic behind this. I am going to pause the video now. I'm going to let it do its thing because we have 5 minutes for that to close. I got to use the restroom. We're going to let it do its thing, and I am going to do my best today. I'm bringing my best to the table today. For this trade. Hopefully it goes our way. Fingers crossed. The hope is there. I'm using my brain instead of my gut to determine where to enter. I'll be right back. We are back. As you can see, price is continuing further down. Let's check the 4 hour, see what it's doing. Yeah. We've cleaned up this gap here that's going on. Nothing really happening outside of that. Let's back to the 30-minute. See what's going on with it. Here we go. Hello, market open. What's price doing at the moment? Let's see. Okay, so we have moved down and cleaned up that imbalance. Now we have a fair value gap within here. Same price might actually continue lower. But before we can do that, we need to check and make sure this right here turns into what we want it to. A new low for this. Or if price continues lower beyond this, what exactly will it target? Because this is the furthest low outside of that. I'm pretty sure on this chart we'll see the same thing, just on a different candle. Because this one on the opposite chart was a doji. That doji was there. See what I mean? Same story on both so far. We see it move up because it manipulated that low and balanced itself out. I think it's safe to say we can go to 5-minute real quick, because we've manipulated the low. Now we want to see the reversal. That is the reversal, is that it manipulated that low. Maybe a doji will form here. We'll see in a second. Two things have to occur. Both the strategy of TJR has to occur, and the two confluences of the other strategy needs to occur. So we'll identify everything. We'll look at price in relation to this green line here, and price and this blue line right here crossing this orange line. If this blue line crosses the orange and we see price go up above this 10-day moving average, there's one strategy and its completion. The second will be the confluence of TJR's strategy in the direction of the up. Right now, I want to see a long position go well for us. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Still, I want to see it do its thing. I want to know. We didn't manipulate a high to continue lower. Currently, we're in the dumps. The most recent low outside of this, way to flip over here. I'm going to mark that low just for reference sake. What is this doing? What is it going to do? We have 1:42 for this to close. Spread's a little much for the S&P as well. Usually it's about 2 or 4. $50. 'Doji, gravestone at the bottom. Potential confirmation there. We need to see it happen though. There goes Doji, gravestone. Let's see what happened on the 30-minute right quick just to see. Okay, so yeah. We're still within the 30-minute candle. We got 24 minutes remaining of this to form. We want to see it come up and invert this fair value gap. We don't want the fair value gap there at all, which is going to tell us that even on the 4-hour, let's see what the 4-hour has to say. Because the 1-hour is a big red down. We're waiting for it to come up. And the 4-hour here, same story. Red down, cleared there, fair value gap there, fair value gap there. Actually, more of a mini fair value gap right there, but still, it's still there. We inverted the fair value, the price gap here. So I think we don't have to no. I think we have to count this as a fair value gap because it inverted the price gap, right? It needed to balance itself out, which is what it did. Now we're looking out of a breakout. We're looking for a breakout. In order for that to happen, we need to see this, do its thing, manipulate this, fill, I think, that order block, and then we'll see it break out of there. Actually curious, let's see. That right there falls within the order block. That's this right here. Off of this downtrend breakup structure here, we have a breaker block. Looks the same on this. It doesn't. We actually broke structure on the NASDAQ, showing it's moving higher. This line's about to cross the orange, and this is about to close up above, which gives us an uptrend for the NASDAQ. The S&P is 1,000% lagging behind. See what's happening here. Similar price gap here. Move down there. Good. It filled it completely. Go to the hour, see what's happening there. Okay, ours a little bit more interesting. We have price gap there. This comes all the way down and messes with just filling the price gap. We didn't even touch the order block. We didn't fill the breaker block. Maybe equilibrium from this high down to this low. That'd make the most sense. It respected the bottom of that, broke past, but respected the bottom. If it closes up where it is now, it'll continue higher from there, which that'll be our confluence. The price will continue higher. So how would we use this to predict this right here? Price continuing higher would mean, because this filled the order block, we need to see the next candles invert this. I'm almost tempted to trade on NASDAQ just because it's given the confluences that we were wanting. We manipulated the low. If we go to the 5-minute, break of structure there. No fair value gap yet. Price is coming down. That high to this low. This could be an order block. No break of structure. No inverse. Oh no, we got inverse. No. Because that moved up there. That didn't invert for value gap. I think what it's going to do is continue to consolidate / manipulate that order block on the higher time frame. Like I was saying before, it'll manipulate it and then it'll break out into an uptrend. Gotta wait for it though. That's a Dragonfly Doji if that closes. There's indecisiveness, but major buy side, sell side resistance, major buy side support. Steady. I intend you to do that. Hello. Two minutes for that candle to close. Let's see what happens. We're going to treat this as the manipulation. This is a valid break of structure. We haven't seen it break structure out of this yet. This is the current low. It's got to break through for it to continue down now out of this break of structure. We have a move down respecting of the 0.68 here. It reaches up into the 75% extension off that break of structure. We're now seeing this breaker block here. You see it close in the uptrend here. After it closes up, the retrace down from this new high to this new low will result in the move we need to see up. We need to see two things occur after that, though. We want to make absolute certain that is going to continue higher through this line crossage here, from this break and closure above this, and the hold of it continue higher. And then after that, we want to also see that break, the order block form within range of this, and then break continuing higher. It'll be a large move up out of this that we're after. New money has already entered the market. The move they want is up from that first candle. The trend from before was down. And we have a high that we can work off of up there. And I do intend on scaling out of this trade. We are on the 5-minute as well here. We can see that move down there, and it hasn't really broken structure off of this yet. I think NASDAQ is the way to go. Hello, we got a closure. Same story. New high, new low. We'll see what this candle does here. No fair value gap, but we do have a breaker block formed. Hello, move. Do we have a fair value gap? It's up in the 75% extension now. It closes, that works for me. Two things will occur in this next candle. Either it'll continue up, breaking structure and giving us a fair value gap, or it'll actually come back down and it will give us a order block that needs to close within this high and this low here. liquidity movements, not candles. From this low here, we moved up to here. Down, up, down. Order block, break up above, liquidity sweep of this high. Here. Cool. From this move, down, up, down, order block, move higher. Except we've created a new low, so down, up. I need to rewatch the video on order blocks and revise this because the break of structure is the result of the order block, right? They're not, the order blocks are not used to identify the breaks of structure. They're meant to identify a move, a retest of the breaker block, right? Without breaking structure out of that breaker block. So in this now uptrend, we had a breaker block here, right? Our move from this high down, and then from this low up, this high here, that should have been a breaker block formed. And our order block is from this down move to this up move is a repeat of the move down, a retest of this level without breaking structure, and for it to continue higher. At least that's what I think it's supposed to be. So we need to see a down candle. We need to see a move down, a low created, and then the entry from that point forward. The order block for this here, if we were only using the liquidity sweep, break of structure, order block, orders had the potential to get filled and were confirmed that they were by a break of structure, which means a liquidity sweep occurred and the break of structure confirms that they were filled. Change of trend, the reversal, the reaction. We waited for price to enter a range where there was a lack of liquidity. Price came back down where there was a lack of liquidity because we had just manipulated these highs. It'll come down. Okay? In the market, in the opposite direction of our bias to get hit for us to enter. I read that. I read two different notes right there. I am so sorry. Price to enter a range where orders were filled prior. So orders were filled from this here, right? Moved higher. Price re-entered this range. Boom. To get an optimal entry. This right here would have been our optimal entry. Order block. Up, down. Enter here. Watch it continue higher. Would have been the mode to go with. And we could see that confirmed there. We're in a downtrend on three major time frames. Either we see a break of structure on the higher time frame and I enter it along, which wouldn't make sense because we just manipulated a high, or from this high we see a break of structure or an inverse for value gap, which we would need a large move down, break of structure, and then from that break of structure we can then move forward to entering it on a short. Either way, we're waiting on a move down for a long, so let's wait and see what happens here, because learning moment. It's given no fair value gaps. The only blocks we have are a break of structure and a breaker block, saying price will continue from that break of structure in an uptrend. The move down we could have considered to be an order block, but I'm not entirely certain that is the order block we're after, because again, it requires moves, not candles. And from this move down, up, down, right? This would be considered an order block, this move down right here, down to this low, because it retested this order block here. But before we can get there, we need to see price come down, retest this. It needs to close within the breaker block, which encompasses all of this, and without breaking structure. I'm still waiting on a confluence. Not satisfied. It's going to come back down. What I think is it should happen, what I think should occur before we enter a trade, price come down, respect this zone here, and then close within. You can wick down past, it's fine, but to retest this successfully, it needs to come down, wick into this, and then continue higher, close within, and move higher beyond that. Minute for Dragonfly Doji on that mode. Minute for what appears to be an order block here, because again we have a breaker block, move down within range, closure. That minute either closes within this, or this is the order block that we were after. See, move higher, but that doesn't make. Oh yeah, that would make sense. Inverse for value gap, move down off a breaker block, order block, closure within range, should break structure. That's on the 30-minute though. What is price doing right now on the higher time frame? It's moving up, retesting the breaker block, closing within range of this high and this low. For a breaker block to form, it shows continuation of current trend. Current trend is down. So if this closes within this range here, we'll see it continue further down. The hour coincides with that with a move up, but indecisiveness here. That indecisiveness is what we're looking to take advantage of. Because though it's indecisive, it has yet to break structure and invert that fair value gap on the hour. 4 hours the same way. We have yet to break structure. We have a fair value gap there. Should continue lower. Boom there. Order block. Boom. 5 minute. Manipulation of the high there. Let's see what happens off of that. Have I done good so far? I haven't entered in on a trade, which I think is a good thing so far. For the MACD and everything else, we could have entered here off that off the other strategy and caught this entire leg up, but we chose not to because the confluences of TJR haven't hit yet, and so far I'm not seeing the final one of this setup to continue long. Price has got to come down. Goes within now this high and this low to form this breaker block. This will be our order block, and we'll see price move higher past this high. When it does, that's when we'll enter. We'll see a break of structure off of that move down. Because we haven't gotten a fair value gap yet. We got a breaker block, sure. Yeah, no break of structure yet. Yep, there's some resistance building up right here too. There's our reaction down. We want to see something else. Come on. We're in an uptrend for the 30-minute right now, but the hour says we're still in a downtrend. Yeah, for that drop, we're in a downtrend. 30 minutes, 30-minute, we're in a downtrend too. This closed within range of this order block here. This move down. We go down, up. This move down. Or sorry, up, down, up, order block here. Continuation down. On the 5-minute, we haven't gotten an inverse from value gap or a break of structure yet. On the 1-minute is a little bit of a riskier game. If we see a break of structure here or an inverse from value gap right here, right, and it's got to close below that. Can't close in line of it. If it closes below it, we can enter in the direction of a long, because that's the bias that we are looking for a long at the moment. There's some new fair value gap right there. Okay, so that worked. Boom. We answered in all along. Going this in here. We want to put our stop loss right about here. Triple check what we're doing now. Our break of structure was in this. We had move up, move down. We had a breaker block form within this here. I think it's not good. Let's put it below this low. No, below this low here. Because this is the range finder that we got going on. And my take profit is going to get put way to flip up here. Because that's Asian session high. Okay. From here, we go to the 30-minute. Mark out some scale back options. Let's go ahead and confirm this. So at least it's there. There, that's good. Good. From here, we have this entry. Break, breaker block, order block, move up higher, which works for us. We should be seeing difficult to tell. Be 10-minute would be easier to put take profits at. We have this high here that we could hit. Value up there. Very small one, but it's there. Working up towards Asian session now. We have the bottom of that fair value gap, though it's fairly close. We'll go ahead and target the top. Target the top of that fair value gap as well. And we have that high there. Order block there to punt down. Top of that fair value gap there. There's nothing beyond this that we can really hunt down because there is nothing beyond it. We can go to 4 hour and see that quite clearly. Like huge red line moving up this side here. This right here shows volume and the crossings. As you see, this is a huge amount of time. We can go this way if we want to. Here's where current price is, this little green line here. Move further back. I'm not seeing anything. I could let it stop and load. I don't know if it'll work or not, but we could try it and see. Yeah, it's not gonna give it to me. Okay. You could see it, I could see it, we could see it. Let's go ahead and move to the 5-minute. Monitor prices for what it is right now. See what happens. Spread might knock us out. Let's learn. Let's learn what happens right quick without stop loss. Let's just learning moment, because I don't want to lose anymore, and I want to see why we're losing. So let's just look and see. Okay. Currently negative 34 cents in the hole, which is not what we want. It hasn't closed. Price went down, but it has not closed yet. We got an idea. How about this? Less bad, more informational. Because I'm thinking if price wants to reverse and it wants to go down as far as it wants to, it'll target this low here, so we'll put it below that low. Logic. Less emotion, less gut feeling. Logic. 5 minute, I think it's gonna go below that breaker block if it breaks. Our idea is wrong. Way to move up all the way up there. Cool. Now for a move down. This would have been our new high right here that we would have needed to break structure out of. Let's see what the 30 minute says right quick. Yeah, if we didn't break structure out of this either. Right here. So chances are this is more likely a loss because I'm failing to recognize the power of the higher time frames. We're in a downtrend on the hour. We're on a downtrend on the 30 minute. We have yet to break structure on either. Why am I going in all along? Because we manipulated the low to continue higher. Well, we manipulated the low, went up, and now it looks like we manipulated the high in a return down. Mini retrace. This, my thought process was a breaker block. Filling up higher, closure within. This could be a very, very prominent order block. That makes sense because we have move down, move up. I think we're going to get stopped out. I think my idea is wrong. Because it's not with the trend. It's with the retrace of trend. What happened? Why did I take this trade? Well, I started with the hour. We started with this low here in particular. We saw that low manipulated. Said, okay, let's work from there. Went to the 5 minute because we wanted to make sure things were good. This was the low that was manipulated. We saw it manipulated again. We waited for the break of structure. Boom. We saw move up, break of structure. We're in uptrend. Cool. Move down from this high down. Right? Because now this is our low. Move down. Cool. No biggie. Breaker block formed off of this uptrend. We saw a move up, a big move up too. It wasn't small by any means. Huge move up. From this move up, what happened? Absolutely nothing. We didn't get the fair value gap. We did not get a breaker block. We did not get order block. Instead, we waited for an order block to move down. We could have easily said, okay, this is actually the 75% extension, except we couldn't have used that because we have the break of structure first, right? So from this break of structure, breaker block, sign of continuation in the reversal, up, made sense. What in here could we have waited on? If we had stuck with the strategy to go down to the 1 minute on the notepad here, it's not valid, it's not shown. If we go from the 5 minute here for the breaker block forming to this right here, I'm confident we could have found a break of structure within this on the 1 minute. This is 9:40-ish, so 1 minute, boom. 9:40. Boom, right in there, because we moved down, right? And then we saw a high here, we broke structure above it. We could have caught all this leg up here.
We didn't do that though. Instead, we waited. Why did we wait? Because on the 5 minute, I wanted to see from this breaker block I had assumed formed an order block, which would have been price moving down and closing within range of a high created from the candle and a low from here. It's the move, not the candle that I'm identifying. It's this low from this move down to this move up that I'm looking for. And then from this move up to, guess what? A move down without breaking structure. So could this be our order block? Maybe. But if this is our order block, that means price will continue higher, which means the trade is correct. In spite of the higher time frames saying, no, we're in a downtrend. We have yet to break structure. Why are you trading in a long when it's a short trade? Right? 30-minute has yet to break structure. We closed up there. We have a doji there, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee price will continue higher. Sure, we're at the bottom of a trend, and this is a strong indicator that, hey, yeah, price might actually continue higher. And though this right here is considered a breaker block, move down, move up, this could be considered an order block. If this is considered an order block, price will continue lower. Right? I want to wait and I want to see. If we get stopped out, okay. But I want to know where it goes to. I want to know where it hits, and I want to know everything about it. Because every single time I've come up with the position, the setup for a short, I have been hilariously stopped out faster than anything else. I'm going for a long position on the NASDAQ because we manipulated a low first on the 5 minute. We saw the breaker structure. We saw the breaker block form. I'm gonna guess here, this is a solid guess, that this is a order block, and so price should continue higher. It did continue higher. Yay. It should keep going higher, right? By all logic, it is. On the 1 minute, it'd be it's risky to consider it to go higher because anything could change in this. This is, oh, that's 1 second, not 1 minute. I need this right here. Anything along these candles are incredibly risky because literally it's so fast you either know what you're doing or you don't. And we broke structure on the 1 minute, but the 5 minute hasn't. 5 minute has yet to break structure. The new low is right here. We got to break below that in order to break structure into a downtrend, continuing the trend on the higher time frames, and it matched and it just plummet. I want to see price continue higher. This would be one giant red candle. This would be one giant green candle. And then right here, we have our doji. Indecisiveness all throughout this right here. And you can see we're already in the red again. I don't want to pause. I want to learn it. It's like I am going to be wrong per the Reddit strategy. Prices coming lower and lower onto that 10-day moving average. MACD's looking like it'll confirm it. If it continues lower, where will it want to potentially go after? My best guess is underneath this low here because of, literally speaking, it being the order block to the move up, right? Then again, if I were to guess on the 4-hour time frame, I'm going to guess the rest of this price gap. This whole price gap is an invalidation bit right there is an imbalance. That right there is the top of that. Right, there's the bottom of that. Still got all that room to get balanced with, right? Man, I hate ads. No, go away. I want to listen to my music. You're in the way. goes. It's retesting the order block now. It's gone past it, actually. Broke structure on the 5 minute, assuming this closes the next 3 minutes. What else is this doing? Just move up. Sorry. Move up, down, up. Move down here. Maybe this will be the order lock. Let's see. We come close to getting stopped out. Hopefully we don't get stopped out. If we do, okay. What can I do from here? Try again tomorrow. Closure there. Let's see. with any luck, that's what I'm looking at. Not exactly the greatest risk to reward, but a safe one, in my opinion. Assuming this pans out. Means nothing if the idea is wrong, though. It's a measurement that says I could win this or I could lose this based on the spread of the stop and the final take profit. And of course, I've set up all these blue lines so I know which ones I want to stop at to scale out of, so that way I'm not exposed anymore. I can let whatever remains float until it hits a stop, and then from there, exit market and be done. I do intend on using the scale out, assuming this idea is correct, which so far it looks like it will be. But again, we broke structure, moved down on a higher time frame, and retested this order block here. It did not close below that low, so it didn't hit that low because we're not stopped out either. We can kind of see what happened here as well. On the hour, we had low manipulated here, right? From that low, we went to the 5 minute. To the 5 minute, we said, okay, low was manipulated here. So we waited on a break of structure. We got here. That break of structure then gave us a breaker block here that formed, right? So you leg up, cool. Leg down that closed within this, and we assumed, okay, order block, price is going to move higher. So we entered in on this candle here. You can see that there. 10:30, so either the trade idea is right or we get stopped out. Or we make very, 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 very little, or lose very, 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 very little, and I just leave market anyway. Either way, I do want to see this come to fruition. This came down, closed within, no break of structure. This candle on the other chart closed below this and below this low, specifically breaking structure. You can see that there, closing below that. Let's see what happens there. We got a breaker block off that breaker structure here. think it's best right now if we pause the video. I don't want to pause it. There's indecisiveness within the market here, and honestly, I think this is one of those instances where if I were to ask TJR or the guy on Reddit, hey, could maybe one of you explain exactly what I did wrong here? Because it's not... I applied the strategy as best I could, at least the way I think it was supposed to be applied, right? I stuck to the rules, and I also paid attention to the Reddit user's strategy, right? I broke one of his by entering way after, which was stupid. This is genuinely stupidity on my part, because I didn't buy low and sell high. I bought high, expecting it to go higher. I get that part. That part was very stupid. But TGR's strategy, the way I implemented it, had me buy up here, thinking this was an order block and that it would continue higher. So should we have used this? I don't think we should have. I think we could have waited to see this here. We had a breaker block. Or sorry. Manipulation of the high here. Closure above. Break of structure on the 5-minute. Breaker block. I don't know. Am I confident in the strategy I put in for this? Yeah. Because all the confluences showed themselves. I was able to confidently enter. The Reddit user I didn't really use except as confirmation for what exactly was going on. And it wasn't until way after that I was able to enter from TJR's strategy. So, point of entry being very different between the two. Stuff. Why is this playing? Give me a rock. Not whatever that is. I'll be right back. Got it just in time. We failed again. We didn't break structure there. We didn't break structure there. I think we should have stayed with trend. How best could we have done that? How best could I have done that? On the hour, this wasn't even a high. This wasn't 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 a high. This was our high on the hour. This was our low on the hour for London session, right? Should have stayed with in trend because that was the smartest thing. 30-minute. What about this? Does this show a high? One high right there. Does it show another? It shows one right there. This high was manipulated here, just like this low was. This low, we had a small move up. We should have known better than to go for a long in a downtrend. 1. For 2, we should have known better than to trade within this time, because when market opens, it manipulates whatever it sees fit. In this case, it went from the low to the high. It did not break structure. Instead, it pushed past a little bit, closed in a down move. Then we would have seen continuation on down. Where is this going? Because right now, it's halfway. It's actually clearing the rest of that price gap where we saw it before. We lost $2 with that one. Yeah, almost $3 for that. Looks like that change is coming sooner than I would have hoped. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next one.